So one day I was sitting talking with my girlfriend, and she asked me the question, "How did I didn't get into collecting? How did I know what to collect?" Uh, and that seems to be the question that everyone asks. So here are my 10, I would like to say, foolproof steps to how to start a collection, whether it be comics, action figures, or just a collection of any kind. Stay tuned. So, um, again, here are my 10. I'm saying foolproof just to be dramatic, but there are some flaws in any plan. But here is what I usually do, and I have them written down, so you're gonna see me looking off to the side. Um, 10 things that I do to start, maintain, and keep my collection. Um, and again, this is going to be from my point of view. So I'm speaking as far as comics and figures. So step one is going to be researching. What you want to make sure that you do is research what you plan to collect. Don't just go into a store and just say, "I'm going to start picking this up," because it's going to be not organized. It's going to be all over the place. You're going to be missing things, and then you're going to be frantic trying to find things. So, research. So, in my situation, since I do comics and figures, when it comes to figures, I research what I want to start collecting. In this case, I collect anime figures. But researching more, I collect my hero figures and statues. And so from there, I keep on researching, like, okay, so what's out there, who's making it. um Figures come in waves and sets and things like that. They're all the same thing. Waves, sets, all the same thing. I figure out what wave they're on. I look up each wave, see if there's anything within those waves that I like, and I kind of go from there. I'm a huge completionist, so knowing me, I start from wave one. Same with comic books. When I got into the Blackest Night, Brightest Day series, uh, I ended up collecting all of Green Lantern, the 2005, Green Lantern Corps 2005, and all the tie-ins. So, but all that was research. I was on comic book websites, forums, things like that, seeing what was the lineup as far as reading it and making sure I get a good get the story in its entirety, and that's what it led to. Um, so yeah, make sure you research, because it's going to help you. It's going to help you come a long way as a collector. If you don't research, you're just going to be spending money. You're going to find out that, if you're one of those people who are big with values and stuff, with the value of your collection and whatnot, you're going to realize that you got 2 out of 3 pieces, but because you didn't research, you didn't know there was a third piece. So you're like, "Oh, yeah, my collection's worth, these pieces are worth $1,000." No, it's not. It's only worth like maybe 200, because you're missing the very important third piece. Same with comics. When it comes to runs, you're just buying anything. In my case, like I said, in my case, Green Lantern, I'm buying everything Green Lantern, everything Green Lantern. I'm like, "Oh man, I got the ultimate Green Lantern collection." It's like, bro, you're missing like every single Green Lantern key. And it's like, "What do you mean? I picked up everything Green Lantern that the store had." Yeah, but did you research what came in those runs and stuff? So, research, research, research. Off to number two. Number two is going to be set a budget. Um, Collecting is very expensive. Doesn't matter what you collect, whether it be Pogs, Beanie Babies, comic books, Lego, definitely Legos, Gundams. Set a budget. We're all not made of money, but set a budget, whether it be every month, every paycheck. And it kind of goes back into research, because you don't want to start collecting something that's going to break your bank. Um, like for example, there are some expensive Green Lantern comics, but I researched it and it's usually the early stuff. So I can actually go back and plan for that stuff. I'm not really with the Green Lantern that I'm collecting now. I'm not really facing anything too expensive. Like somebody getting into Gundams. Gundams is very, very expensive. So research what Gundams are out there, what you like, what you would like to build, and set a budget from there. Because if the Gundams you like normally range from 50 to 100, at that point, me, for example, 50 to 100 for a Gundam, you have to really plan out how long it's going to take you to build, how much time you're going to have to build, and you add all that up. You might say, well, I can drop $100 every month for a new Gundam, and build my collection from there. Or if I have a good month, some people get paid 3 times a month. Boom, I can drop 200 and either get one good Gundam, or 2 to 3 smaller Gundams, things of that such. Same thing with comic books. You have a good month, you can get more comics than what you expect, or you can actually get that key comic that's been sitting behind the counter for like the longest time that you've been eyeing. So set a budget, and like I said, it really ties into research what you're going to collect to see what the value, as far as like retail value for it is. Because with figures, I know the My Hero figures that I do buy, they range between $20 to $30. So me personally, I have a collector's budget of usually like $100 to $150 a month that I spend on between comics and figures, that normally keeps my wallet sane. Going into step 3, you are going to set a goal. And what I mean by setting a goal is when you decide what you're going to collect, again, shoes, cars, everybody has an end goal. Some people buy Jordans and you buy cheaper Jordans and trade up. And some people just buy Jordans just because they want to own every Jordan, or every Jordan of a particular style. With comic books, when I started collecting Blackest Night, Brightest Day, because that's how my Green Lantern collection actually started. It started with Blackest Night, Brightest Day. And I said, I'm going to collect every Green Lantern core run. And when I finish that, I said I'm going to collect the Universe stuff that comes next? I think it's the New 52. New 52 comes next. So I'm on a hunt for the New 52 stuff now. I kind of stay within the realm of what I like. So, like I said, I'm a completionist. So I try not to like so much at one time. I try to stay on top of my collection. So if something new comes out, I try to make sure it's in my pull list, just so I'm not out searching for 50 different books at one time. So my goal is to have completed sets. My goal by the end of this year actually is to be at a point that the only time I'm reading comics is on New Comic Book Day, because that right there is my to be read stack right there, and some of those right there, the comic books, the singles go into my long and short boxes. The like the compendiums and the books with actual spawns stay on the shelf. But my actual end goal as far as collecting comics is to, by the end of this year, the only time I'm reading comics is if it's New Comic Book Day, or just picking up a book where it's like, okay, I haven't read this yet, so I'm going to start reading it, because pretty much I'm just reading a bunch of back issues. And as far as my figure collection goes, to pretty much get through all the waves, and the only thing I'm buying is stuff that's about to drop. So set a goal, figure out what your goal is going to be. That way you're more organized and you're focused. And again, that goes back into budgeting, because when you set that goal, you got to make sure you have the money for that goal, and you have to research, because in order to set that goal, you got to know what it is that's headed your way. Number 4, start visiting locals. At that point, once 1, 2, 3, now we're at 4, you're going to start visiting your locals. You're going to start visiting just your normal stores like, Target and Walmart. I highly recommend supporting your locals, because it's real easy for you to walk into your locals and say, hey, I'm looking for this book. I can't find it anywhere. And, if you have a good rapport with them, they can go out or, use their resources to get you that book. Whereas if you go to Walmart or Target and you say, hey, I'm looking for this, all they're going to take, we ain't got it. We ain't got it. Sorry, we ain't got it. Did you check the website? And the website doesn't, no, we ain't got it. Whereas your locals, support your locals, they're going to go out of their way. They're going to ask around. They're going to use their database and, like I said, their resources to really help you get what you need. So visit your locals first. Get what you can from them. Build a good relationship with them because you're definitely going to need it. Build a pull list. See what kind of memberships and other services they have to help you, with your starting your collection. And then after that, then start going to Walmarts and Targets and places like that, which Walmarts and Targets really don't do comic books. So they're more on for like figures and other type of collecting, not comic books. They do have comic books there, but it's more so in like packs. So you're not going to be able to really get what you need from there as far as comic books go. But yes, support your locals. Going over to step number 5, set expectations. If you're going to be comic book collecting, figure collecting, heck, even card collecting, set expectations as far as what you're going to be looking for as far as condition goes. And what did I write there? And also, at this point, I'm going to add as well, you should be determining what kind of collector you're going to be. And what I mean by that, I'm going to explain that first. Determining what kind of collector you're going to be. Let's say people who collect cars. Are you going to be like an old school collector? Are you going to be a Ford collector? Shoe people. Are you going to be a Jordan collector? Or are you going to be like the Jordan collector who only collects, there's certain type of Jordans? With comic books, are you just going to be a key collector, a slab collector, a collector to get books slabbed? With figure collectors, are you going to be an out-of-box collector, in-box collector, a vintage collector? And vintage pretty much just spans across all that other stuff I just named. And like I said, with that is condition. Someone like me, condition is important, but I'm not really anal about it. And what I mean by that is, so I collect pops, and let's say it's a pop I really want. And I'm going to speak on this because I've seen this on TikTok, I've seen this on YouTube videos. Let's just say it's a pop you really want that I've seen some people do, pop they really want. They go on Walmart, it's a Walmart exclusive, they find it. There's either a scratch on the plastic window or there's a dent in the box. It's the last one left. They don't want it. I've seen videos like that. They don't want it. Me, if it's a pop that I really want, I don't care about that dent in the box. I don't care about that scratch on the plastic. I am getting it. Because again, I'm not the type of person who really dwells on value. Now, if I buy a pop and it shoots up to like $200 and I only got it for, value like $15, amazing, awesome, yes, I'm gonna brag about it. But if I really want something and it's a little damaged, down. Now if it's damaged to the point where it's like I can't really display this because it just looks that bad, then I'll pass on it. Or there's other ways around it. I mean, you can still buy it and then go on eBay and buy like a replacement box or whatever. But setting those conditions can really help in the purchasing aspect, because let's say you're looking for a figure, you're looking for a comic, and they have it, but it's not in a condition you want. Now you're sitting there thinking, you're going over just things that you can do to make it better, and it'll get frustrating. Whereas I've seen some comic collectors who really dwell in the art of restorations, so they know how to press, they know how to, fix discolorations and spine ticks and stuff like that, which I don't think you can fix spine ticks, but just saying. So they already know, I'm going to go get this comic. If these things are what's wrong with the comic, I can fix it, or I can get someone to fix it, so they don't dwell on that. Inbox collectors for figures, they know, oh, if it's not in the box, I don't want it off the rip. I don't care. So know from the jump what kind of collector you're going to be. I'm not saying be carefree and just pick up anything, because then you'll get the whole buyer's regret. Like, man, I really wanted this Spider-Man book, and I said I didn't care about it being scribbled all over on the front, but I think I wasted $30 because things like that. Because you buy a book that's been scribbled on the front, it's still worth $30. Either that's a very, very high end comic, or you just got. So just saying. So really, really sit down and take the time to decide. And this is why you're going to the comic books and stores. Like I said, all this stuff, links together some way. And that's why you're visiting your locals. You're seeing what's out there. You're seeing what's being sold. You're getting an idea of what to expect the next time you go to Walmart, the next time you go to Target. Like, man, Walmart doesn't take care of their pops. Walmart doesn't take care of their figures, man. So I'm not going there because they don't take care of it, and I want good condition things. Or I'm not going to this locals because, they really don't. Like, I'm looking for pops on the low, and all their pops are in the box. I'm looking for places that sell pops out the box, which there are some locals that do sell pops out of the box. But, understanding what kind of expectations you have, you'll know where to shop and where not to shop. Number 6. Step number 6. Start building. For the first 5 steps, you've already laid the foundation. You already know what you want to collect. You already know how much you want to spend on it, because at that point, if you know what you want to build, you know how much you want to build, and that works, and then you've already set your goal, and then you already visited, and you already set your expectations, and you're ready to buy at that point. The only thing holding you up is you. Just start building. That's point blank and simple. I'm not even going to dwell on that much. So, number 7, storage and display. And storage and displaying will really come up some steps and really coincide with the setting expectations. Because if you're going to be an out of box collector, displaying is so much different than being an inbox collector. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to pan this up so you can see. There's a whole bunch of cologne up there, but as you can see, boom, all those are in boxes, and I'm able to square it off and stack them up neatly. Whereas if you're going to be an out of box collector, you're not going to be able to do that. So you're going to have to pretty much, when you start building, you're really going to have to, you should already, by the time you do this, when you get to number 7, you should already know how you're going to display. If you're collecting comics, you're going to need long boxes, short boxes. If you're done your research right, you're probably going to be picking up some $50 comics, $100 comic books. You're going to need some protective cases for, especially if you want to hang it on the wall. Same thing with pops. You're going to need pop protectors, the hard case ones or the soft case ones, depends. Same people with shoes. They're going to want to put, I think they're called shoe horns, in their shoes, so the toe doesn't crease while it's being displayed and things like that. So really think about storage and display. And if you're an out of box collector, think about storage, because I don't keep boxes. Once I rip something out the box gets thrown away. But some people keep their boxes, so think about how you're going to save your boxes. And if you hear something weird rattling, my dog is literally right here staring out the window and just pushing the blinds to the side. But yes, think about storage and display. Step 8. That's 8, right? Yeah, that's 8. Join communities. there's a community pretty much for any fandom, any like anything you collect. There's a fandom. Even if you collect coins, there's a fandom for it. I'm a cigar smoker. I've seen communities for cigar smokers, for people who collect cigars. So definitely join those communities. Weed them out because some of them are toxic. So be very, very wary of that. Some are very toxic. Some will actually sell amongst each other. So be wary of scammers. But join communities and use your locals to ask you about to figure out about that. See if your locals actually has a Facebook. See if they have an Instagram, TikTok. I know one of the locals I go to have a TikTok, so I follow them, and they actually had a book fair today that I could not attend. So boom, just me following my locals on TikTok. They had a huge book fair today. So join communities. That way you can keep up with what's coming out. What you missed out on. That's what I'm trying to say. What you missed out on and how to get your hands on it. So join communities. Like I said, just weed out the toxic ones and the ones full of scammers and things like that, and use your locals to help you get through that. Step number 9, you are going to stay in the know, and that goes with research and joining communities and visiting your locals. So staying in the know is pretty much self-explanatory. So what I like to recommend is whatever it is you're collecting, whoever I guess you say the distributor, I guess you would say, or whatever, that's who you need to keep up with. So if when it comes to comic books, if you're a big Image guy, Marvel guy, DC, was it Valiant? I'm trying to say people who just aren't mainstream. I know although I just said Marvel and DC, but Dynamite, Boom, places like that. That's who you need to be following, like on social medias and things like that, and on forums, things of that such. When it comes to like figures, McFarlane Toys is a brand. I don't know too many toy brands. Hasbro, NECA. If you collect any of those branded items, that's who you need to be following to stay in the know. Shoes, of course, Jordans, Puma, Nike. That's who you need to be following to stay in the know. Because if you aren't, you don't know what's dropping. You might find out about a figure or a shoe today, then you're trying to buy it, and you're like, how is it already out of stock? And then you kind of find out because you weren't keeping up with it, that shoe dropped 2 weeks ago, and you just found out today. So that's how you didn't get your hands on it. And I actually follow Image Comics. They have an Instagram, and they started kind of like a community thingy on Instagram. I forgot what it's called, where they send messages to you, and they actually like keep us in the know what's about to drop. They show us like future covers. They interact with us like, hey, anybody reading Spawn? And it's like, oh, if you're reading Spawn, click on this link. This is what you need to find out. So that's the stuff that you really need to use to stay in the know. And last but not least, step number 10, after you've done your research, set a budget, set a goal, visited your local, set the expectations, started building, figured out how you're going to display, you join communities, you're staying in the know, enjoy your collection. Enjoy. And again, that's self-explanatory, but I can't reiterate. I can't say it but so many ways. Enjoy your collection. There are days I would just come over here, just literally. Sometimes I just sit here and I just look. Now, there's more to my collection than this, because I know y'all gonna watch this video like, bro, his collection is not even that big. Like what? Why is he making videos and his collection looks like that? This is not it. Like I said before in previous videos, I am actually in the process of moving. This is only like a fraction, because I have figures, but you don't see figures here. So I actually have more figures that are actually kind of like tubbed up at this point because I'm in a 1 bedroom, so there's really not much room for me to display. But sometime next year with a new setup, because we're gonna have a bigger place. Yeah, you're gonna start seeing that stuff, or I might start pulling that stuff out just to show off for future videos and stuff. But sit back, like Jen, just look at your accomplishments. Every comic here, these down here, these. I got some long boxes on the other side of my monitor, and short boxes. I got a long box and 2 short boxes. All those were collected by hand, one by one. And the reason I'm really expressing that, because maybe I have close to 1,000 comic books. I'm trying not to exaggerate. Out of, let's say if I have 1,000 comic books, maybe 30 of them I bought offline. And that was because I went to like 2 to 3 different locals and could not find it. So I had to buy it online. So this is probably some, and the reason these were bought offline because it was so much cheaper. They're like $60. I got them for like 30. I got this from Target, but still, that's getting it by hand. But as far as like this shelf goes, these 5 right here were bought offline because they were cheaper. I could have bought those in store, but I'm saving like $30. But when you realize the time and effort that you put into collecting, like you literally went on manhunts to get a particular comic, a particular shoe. You, as far as cars go, since that's on a wider scale, you're actually like talking to people. You're calling people. People are calling you. You are at work. Your phone's blowing up. You're walking away. Your boss is looking for you because you're trying to seal the deal on this Ferrari. Like, when you realize what you've done, like just imagine like people selling $1,000 comics to get their hands on like a $2,000 comic, and realizing it's like, bro, I went through so much to build this collection. And to kind of go on a tangent, that's why I'm really not big into pops anymore, because when I moved from South Carolina to Florida, I had to sell my pop collection. My pop collection consisted, which some people have a lot more, but my pop collection consisted over 100 pops. And that was 100 pops I had to sell to move. Did not want to do it. I had to do it. And so all the work I put into getting those pops I accumulated over years, gone like that, does something to you. So really, really take the time to enjoy your collection. It doesn't matter if it's stationary. I don't care if those Spawn books are just sitting. I'm going to look back and just stare at them, because it's like, I bought those and I'm reading those. Well, I have read those because I am on a Spawn journey. I'm on a journey to catch up on Spawn. I just need to get Compendium 5. But man, just when you realize the amount of work you've put in, oh, it's so good. But with that being said, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. This is going to be up on YouTube and TikTok. But I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Anime and Beer, we out.